don't turn off the TV, don't change the channel. Or as John Lennon would say, don't turn off the telly. He's probably said that before, I bet. I don't know. Welcome back to Channel Seb. They're letting me do more of this. And if you guys keep watching, we can do more of this, and we can do weirder versions of this. Like more, like it'll get worse, basically. It'll get worse, it'll get weirder. It's gonna be fucking nuts. So better keep watching. Today we're literally just doing my best recollection of just all of the Beatles' history, just like all their albums and all their beef, but only the parts I remember and probably remembered wrong. We're gonna be doing 12 different cocktails as well during this to match all of their 12 released albums, British release. We'll talk about that later. And what I don't drink, we're putting in this, the Beetle juice bucket. Ha ha ha. We're so fucking clever. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it with the beginning formations of the Beatles, which not a lot of people know about. It started with little old John Lennon himself. Spoiler alert! Yeah, it started with John Lennon and the Quarrymen. Lame ass name, no wonder it failed. And then John Lennon met Paul McCartney. Woo, we love that guy. They met and they were like, whoa, you like to play music? I like to play music. You like to play music? I like to play music. What if we kissed and played music? Except they didn't kiss. And then Paul McCartney was like, hey, I got this guy who's real good at playing music, and his name's George Harrison. And then he brings in a 15-year-old boy. Yikes! Weirdly enough, John Lennon was like, this guy is way too young. That's baby. I think they were all like 16, 17, like 15, 16, 17. Like they were also babies. So John Lennon was being weird. But then George Harrison rips his shit on the guitar so hard that they're just like, man, we just have to get this guy in the band. So they're all playing music and they're all having fun, and they've got Pete Best on the drums. And then they're like, Pete Best, Pete Worst. Let's get this guy in. And that's when Ringo Starr joined. And then what happened? They were the Beatles. And then they released their first album, Please Please Me. So we got our first cocktail here. And this one is called a Please Love Me. So let's have a try. Oh my God. Oh! Whoa. Okay, sorry. That's really strong. I was told this was scotch and vermouth and, I'm sorry, producer, what else?
Campari.
Campari. It doesn't work. I don't want any more of that. That's so strong. Oh my God. Almost as strong as the start of the Beatles, Please Please Me. So they had already had some singles out by that time that were like doing really well. And then they dropped Please Please Me, and it's like fucking explosion right on the Brits. Yeah, so Please Please Me was like stellar first album. They're already blowing up. They're already like on the rise right from the start. This is the first album is really where like the whole Beatlemania thing started. That's honestly, there's not much else to say about it. They got Saw Her Standing There, Love Me Do's got that harmonica in it. I feel like in the current day, we should have more songs with harmonica in it. I feel like the Beatles should have started more of a trend there, but it's so strong. Not a lot of people know this. This is where the fifth Beatle, Rongo, joined. He wasn't really known about. He was kind of like in the background of the music videos. Edit in one of the Beatles music videos and show where Rongo would put a big red circle around Rongo. He's right there. You wouldn't know if I didn't tell you, would you? So yeah, I mean, honestly, we're gonna get into a lot more with their following albums, but that first one, solid base. You wouldn't even know what's gonna happen later. So I guess we'll dump this in should I dump the whole thing? Okay, into the bin. I'm trying to, that didn't work out. I was trying to get an audio on that ball rolling around in there. That's really fun. So yeah, now we're gonna talk about With the Beatles. With a Dark and Stormy. We got inspo on that? What's the point?
The album made me sad.
Yeah, alright, cool. So yeah, Dark and Stormy. Let's give it a try. Mostly rum on the top. It is a layered beverage, so I probably should. Yep, there we go. Oh, it's a lot better. Oh my god, it's a lot better. Oh, you can really get the ginger beer. Yeah, with the Beatles, so they, starting with their last album and into this album was their Cavern Club era. The Cavern Club is basically like a hole in the ground. Many exist in Great Britain. They kind of just put artists down there and they just have to sing for like degenerates in the hole. But yeah, this second album was the start of their like international blow up. With the Beatles was the soundtrack for their first movie. And then they also, because of their popularity, because of this album, traveled for their first time to America. Get this, like very soon after JFK died, which is a crazy fucking move because like America's mourning and then just right after it's the Beatles are there. And American women fucking love the Beatles. At this point, it was literally like, it was the British invasion. So like American women were going fucking knucking futs over British people. So like immediate arrival, I imagine that it cured a lot of the depression after JFK died. Maybe people forgot that JFK died. In the same way that the release of Over the Hedge cured a lot of the 9/11 grief, I imagine. Can we get a source on that?
No.
I think that's what happened. If you want like a similar, like equitable situation. So their movie is called A Hard Day's Night. Basically, the Beatles they just documented like a fictionalized version of like a day or two in their like super popular epic lives. And then also there's this weird subplot where Paul McCartney's grandfather is like luring Ringo away into weird situations.
Hello, grandfather. Hello. He can talk then, can he?
Of course he can talk. He's a human being, isn't he?
Well, if he's your grandfather, who knows?
The movies only get weirder from there, by the way. Wait till you hear about the next one. So yeah, that was basically their second album. Oh, and I forgot to mention completely, when they went to America, Ringo got eaten. Straight up, like in like a crowd moment where like all these girls were like ripping and trying to like claw their way to the Beatles, Ringo got eaten alive. And like nobody talked about him after that. I bet you guys didn't know about this. This is the real deep lore of the Beatles. So the Beatles were in America. And then Ringo got eaten. Yeah, let's dump our Dark and Stormy into the fucking Dark and Stormy waters and talk about the next era. Yeah, so this one, where we're talking about A Hard Day's Night, this one is called A Bad Day. My producer, as he was handing it, I don't know if we got it on mic, but he said, "You're gonna hate this one." And by the smell of it, I think I am. This smells like one of those little spice packages that you like, or like a, what is it, a potpourri? There's just a bunch of bullshit in a bowl. So yeah, let's have a little tasty taste of this. That definitely doesn't taste like you're having like bourbon and then like immediately like unscrewing a pepper grinder and just like getting your little tongue in there. Oh my god, it's so herbal. That might be the equivalent of cutting open a cigar and like eating it with a spoon, I think. Yeah, so I already touched a little bit on A Hard Day's Night. A Hard Day's Night it was the soundtrack for their first movie. Again, where the Beatles are just kind of fucking around and being famous, and then Ringo has like his own plot line. That is going to be a consistent thing with most Beatles movies. Ringo has his own shit that he's got going on every time. And then they're like fucking around with their managers. They've got a short one and a tall one. That's like kind of every movie, right? They always got like a short guy and a tall guy, and one of them drinks milk, of course, like in Home Alone and like any sort of movie where there's like a short guy and a tall guy. There's always the short guy, the tall guy, and the one that drinks milk out of the two, right? We know this. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy movie. I'm not sure if that one was very critically acclaimed. I can't imagine. It's not a good movie. It's okay. Producer, we got any word on that? You don't know anything about the Beatles. Yeah, I don't think anyone liked it very much. Much like this fucking bad day that I'm having because of this stupid cocktail. Yeah, what a crazy thing to do right after JFK got slimed. I don't know. The Beatles were really wilding for that. I guess they didn't really, they wouldn't have cared. They're British. The British people don't make very good movies, I think we've learned. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Most of their early albums, not much to say about it. They were just like a bunch of young boys climbing the ladder of fame. They didn't know what they were doing yet. Once we get into like the middle road, we're gonna have a lot to say about that. So let's put, I feel like at the end of this bucket is gonna taste just like this. I feel like it's gonna taint it, but, in you go. Ugh, yummy! Oh my God, never try that. Hey, never try that. So this one is called a Moonlight. Based on the one of the songs that is also like Moonlight. Yeah, Beatles for Sale. So there's still some young boys, right? Oh wait, no, I need to drink this first. Yeah. Oh my God, this is actually really good. Lemon in there. Yeah, this is delightful. Very fruity, very lemony. If you can see the logo on this glass, no, you can't. Non-sponsored. Not associated. Beatles for Sale. They're still pretty young in their careers. This was the album where they were like, man, we want to be successful, but also, what if we were a little creative with it? So it's kind of like they're like almost there, but not yet. Beatles for Sale. It has I'm a Loser, written by John Lennon, fitting. What else has it got? 8 days a week. That's not how many. It's really just like, I wanted to get more creative with the lyrics, but they're kind of stuck in like the boy band kind of vibe. The last two albums were and their whole career up until now is like, they're writing love songs and girls are going, ah! Clip of girls in the 60s going, ah!
We came here at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 to see them, and all they do is push you farther and farther away, and then they don't even let you see them.
See what I mean? Yeah, everyone's crazy about these boys. They all look the same still. They haven't really changed up the look yet, but, yeah, in this album, it's called, people don't really know this, it's called Beatles for Sale, because after the death of Rongo, they were thinking, maybe people don't like Rongo because they really like Ringo. So they did try to sell him in sort of like a charity auction situation to try to raise money for their next album. It didn't really work out. Something about human trafficking isn't legal. So it didn't work out for them. Not a lot of people know this. That was a really fucked up part of Beatles history is when they tried to sell Ringo. Critics have argued possibly more fucked up than when they let the fans eat Rongo. I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. It didn't work though. So Ringo remained. And he wrote some songs that everyone really liked and that were really critically acclaimed. Put the wrong graphic right here. Really critically acclaimed songs that everyone liked, and they were the most popular out of all the Beatles songs. Ugh. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into the really good shit. which is dumping this, first of all. It's yummy. A lot of ice in there. This is looking really tropical. Wish you guys could see what I'm looking at. It's just 2 balls floating around in a sea of ice. Like the Titanic.
Give it a smell test.
A smell test? I don't have a very strong sense of smell. So this one is called A Fizzy Miss Lizzie, which I've just been jazzed about it ever since I learned. Because of the song on the album. It's just like the last one. It's like the song on the album. Ooh! Well, that's dangerous. Yeah, that's pretty good. Help is awesome. Help it's an album, but it's also another movie. They made another movie. The Beatles, a movie. You gotta be kidding me. I actually fucking loved this one as a kid because I think everyone should go watch the Help movie now. Help is a movie where, bear with me, the Beatles are on tour. Bear with me. Ringo gets mailed a big ass beautiful ruby ring. Bear with me. That was sent to him by someone in some other country who is about to be human sacrificed, bear with me, and the ring is like, they put the ring on the human sacrifice. I'm just spoiling the whole movie. They put the ring on the human sacrifices, and that's how they know that they need to sacrifice them. So then she mails it to Ringo, and then Ringo's wearing the ring, and then this like cultist group is like, damn, who's wearing the ring? They see that Ringo's wearing the ring. They're like, okay, we gotta kill this guy. So they're on tour, consistently, like conveniently evading Ringo's kidnapping and death, just like out of happenstance, and that's the whole thing. It's just they're trying to fucking kill Ringo. And the whole movie is them just being like, oh, that's a weird thing that had like, why did my, what's the shuffle get? What's the game where they got the brooms and it's like on ice and they're like, does anyone know?
Quidditch.
Quidditch? When they're playing Quidditch, the ball explodes and they're like, fucking, that's crazy. How did that happen? Anyways, let's just like go skiing down a hill. And then they sing one of the songs off of Help. It's a baller movie. It won 15 Oscars. 11 Grammys, 20 YouTube awards, what's the Pornhub awards? The Booty Awards? I don't know. It won everything. Anyways, Help has the most covered song in the world. Sorry. The most covered Beatles song in the world is Yesterday, and it's on Help. So, like, I don't know, revolutionary, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. When I think of Help, I really can only think of the movie where they were like, okay, imagine you're John Lennon. It would be really funny if we made a movie about they're trying to fucking kill Ringo. Really fucked up that they did that after the murder of Ringo, too. Just really consistently, like, they hate Ringo, they hate Ringo, they're trying to sell Ringo, they're trying to kill Ringo. Not a lot of people know that they were actually, like, they were using the movie as a guise to actually kill Ringo, and it still didn't work. Anyways, I should probably put this lemon in there. So, I think everyone should watch the Help movie. Help is, like, one of the more popular albums, I think. Oh, and then in their personal lives, they started doing drugs. The Beatles have this great story about they went to go get coffee with their dentist, and their dentist was like, I put something cute in your coffee. It was LSD, dude. And the Beatles are just driving around London, like, on LSD, like, what the fuck? That's the first time they did it. And then, like, George Harrison and John Lennon got super into LSD, and then Paul McCartney did it once and was like, he went to the press and was like, I think LSD has made me a better person.
How often have you taken LSD?
About 4 times.
And where did you get it from?
Well, you know, I mean, if I was to say where I got it from, you know, it's illegal and everything. It's silly to say that.
Don't you believe that this was a matter which you should have kept private?
But the thing is, you know, that I was asked a question by a newspaper. And the decision was whether to tell a lie or to tell him the truth, you know. I decided to tell him the truth.
And everyone was like, what the fuck, you're doing drugs? And I imagine John Lennon and George Harrison were like the two older brothers who have been smoking weed for a while, and the younger brother like telling the mom like, we're doing drugs! Pissed off is what I imagine they were after hearing that he went to the press and said, I'm doing an illegal drug, and my friends are too. So that's basically the entire Help era, from my memory at least. And then the next one, even more so, oh wait, Dumpy. This just gets worse. And now there's 2 lemons in there. 2 lemons, 3 balls, a bunch of ice. So, this one is also, it looks like the one that I didn't like, and I'm afraid that it's gonna be one that I don't like again. Sorry, what was the name of this again?
Warm Soul.
Warm Soul. Wow. My soul is warm. As is this entire set, which is why I'm sweating so much. Bottoms up! Oh. Actually, that's fucking delightful. That, tastes like whiskey if it was a little sweet.
If you finish the drink, then it can't go into the bucket.
Rubber Soul, also known as the part of the Beatles history where everyone was like, they're smoking pot. And they were. They were smoking pot and doing LSD, and then they made Rubber Soul. Rubber Soul was like, if the band is a person, their first few albums was them being like a teeny bopper, like 17-year-old. This is the maturation era. This is the 25-year-old. Your brain is like, your frontal cortex is finally developing. Notably more like developed lyrics. They're not singing about I want to fuck girls. They're singing about Norwegian wood. They're singing about homeless guys. That's what Nowhere Man's about, right? It's just homeless dudes. Pretty good era for the Beatles. But definitely the part of the Beatles history where everyone was like, So they're just weird now? All right. And I mean, still very popular. I think Rubber Soul won a Grammy for most people in a band or something. I don't know. Did you know? In 1965, when Rubber Soul was released, the most amount of people in a band at that point had only been 2. So the fact that they had 4, it's like double. So that's why they won that Grammy. Oh my god. Yeah, so with that, they were becoming a little more controversial, which we'll talk about with the next album. Right at the start of their next album, they did something really fucking crazy. Not like that crazy, but they did something crazy for the time. Being the 60s, I mean, it's like all free love, but also the Ku Klux Klan was around still. Oh no! So they were getting a little edgier. They were gonna get a little freaky with their drug use. Rubber Soul's a good album, but and this is a good cocktail. And it's going. It's developing a film. There's some seeds. In you go. Yeah. So this is a obviously this is a revolver for the album Revolver. I won't do the joke again, but you know what I'm thinking about when I say Revolver. Last time I've had one of these, didn't like it. We'll see if my tastes have changed after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different drinks. Sips of them. I'm sober. This is like if the last one and the other brown one that I was scared of when I drank the last one, it's like if those two had a fucked up little mutant stupid baby. Revolver. Yeah, so the controversy I was talking about is, y'all remember that time that John Lennon was like, I think I'm better than Jesus? Because the people of the 60s do. Yeah, so John Lennon, around this era, was basically on press saying, and he like went really hard with it. He was on record saying, I don't know if the Beatles might be bigger than Jesus, and then continued to be like, I think Christianity is gonna be dissolved. I really like Jesus, but I hate his disciples, and his disciples wrote the fucking Bible, so fuck you and fuck Christianity. And you know who didn't like that? Christians, fundamentalist Christians, and the Ku Klux Klan. They were like burning Beatles albums in the streets after he said that. Really fucked up. I feel like if somebody said that nowadays, that everyone would just be like, ooh, cunty, yes, queen. Back in the day, can we recall to the fact that we're in the like 1965 to 66 era? People didn't like that very much. It was a very big controversy for the Beatles. Crazy that John Lennon felt secure enough to be like, I think maybe the Beatles could be bigger than Jesus Christ himself. Y'all know, you know how they feel about Jesus, John. Anyways, Revolver had Eleanor Rigby. Guys, we love Eleanor Rigby. Really, like, yeah, Revolver had a bunch of different songs. It was like a weirder departure. Like, it wasn't like, it was very much like Drugs still, but also, I mean, and then also I believe Yellow Submarine was on it, and we'll get back to that later. Everyone loves Yellow Submarine. What else? Yeah, so yeah, they were in kind of some hot water about it for a while, and then I think John Lennon at some point was like, he gave the most YouTuber apology in the world, where he was like, if the media wants me to say sorry, I'm sorry.
If it had said television is more popular than Jesus, I might have got away with it.
It's like, okay, I guess we're fine then. And they went on to be the most popular band to ever exist. He actually won 3 Grammys for saying that Jesus was less popular than the Beatles. So Forgive and Forget was a lot bigger of a thing than like before YouTube rolled around. If I had to choose between listening to Revolver and drinking this thing again, hey, catch me Eleanor Rigbying, picking up the rice in the church where the wedding has been. So, we're in Sgt. Pepper land, and we've got a spicy marg to go with it. Ooh, there's some sediment at the top, or all throughout this. Yummy. Woo! Oh, it was very jalapeno forward. I guess this is Sgt. Pepper, so that checks out. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band is like one of the OG concept albums where the Beatles were like, what if we were some other guys? And so they were, and they made an album that was like super trippy and psychedelic. They used a bunch of different technology to do like, taking clips and like running them like forwards and back and like doing all sorts of weird manipulation with tapes. What most people care about, really, is how Sgt. Pepper's leads into Yellow Submarine, which was created, Yellow Submarine was created, and Magical Mystery Tour, which is, by the way, the one album that we're not talking about fully. So Magical Mystery Tour is not technically part of the British release of all of their albums. It was released as a double EP and then released fully in America. So we don't have a cocktail for it, so we're just going to talk about it right now. Magical Mystery Tour is a movie about how the Beatles were on a bus and weird shit happened. That one is actually forgettable. I think that one won no Grammys, no Oscars, no YouTube awards. I don't remember what the YouTube awards were called. But Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, weird ass music. This is really where people were like, these guys are fucking nuts. I Am the Walrus is like all-time hitter. Y'all ever seen Tusk before? That's what I Am the Walrus is about. So one of the songs on the album, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, that's a really cool one because everyone was like, that has to be, hey, they're doing all these drugs, that has to be about drugs. And the Beatles have been on record consistently being like, no, that was literally just like John Lennon's kid made a little cute drawing and was like, this is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And they were like, oh, let's make a song about that. And everyone was like, you guys are drug addicts. So that's fucking crazy. I see why I mean, LSD, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I see why people thought that way, but I mean, as far as we know, it's genuinely just the innocence of a child and a convenient slip-up. Yellow Submarine is a movie about, and we'll get to the actual album later, but the movie is about, basically, it's animated. The Beatles go into a beautiful land of Pepperland, and Pepperland, if you've seen the last video, is getting taken over by the Blue Meanies. Those guys, the Blue Nazis.
Arch villain, the Blue Meanie.
I love those guys, but you know what they're doing? They're cutting Pepperland down to smithereens. And the captain of the Yellow Submarine is like, I need the Beatles, because they look like this other band, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. So there's a tie-in there. It's really beautiful. It's just fucking weird. I don't know, trippy visuals. They got John Lennon in a walrus mask. You know, a splendid time is guaranteed for all, and they were talking about that as well. So, I mean, good time for them, good time for me. Not a very good time when I add fucking jalapeno to whatever the hell this is. If it makes the whole thing spicy, that's what I think about that. Ugh, so spicy. All right. And the next one we're going to talk about, and don't take this out of context, you liberals, it's called the White Album. Yeah, so for our drink for the White Album, it's a White Russian, and if y'all want to get a nice little look at that, it looks so creamy and good. I was just thinking about how well this is going to go with all of that. There's lemons in there. I think lemon and cream. I think we know what happens there. Never had a White Russian, so let's see how this is. Oh, actually that's pretty good. Maybe I should just finish this so I don't have to put it in there. Yeah, not bad, not that bad, not that bad. The White Album, really interesting one. A lot of, I remember as a kid, I saw the White Album and I was like, so what the fuck is this? Why is it blank? My dad was like, so it's called the White Album. And that's where my elitism really started, I think, my music elitism. Yeah, so the White Album is the beginning of the fucking end for the Beatles. This is where most people go, oh my god, Yoko Ono, I fucking hate her, she ruined the Beatles. And this is because John Lennon was fucking her, obviously, and was like, fellas, what if I brought Yoko Ono in the studios every time we're trying to record? And then she's sitting there, and she, you know, she's an experimental artist, so every time they're trying to record, she's like, what if we added some, like, screaming right there? And then, obviously, John is, like, cuddling up on her and trying to, you know, and everyone else is like, John, we're at work!
John! John!
He's busy!
John! John! John!
Yes?
What do the other lads feel? About just going on?
John!
Do it.
John! John! John!
So this is, you know, this is the album where the tensions were rising for sure, especially between John Lennon and Paul McCartney, who, historically, we haven't talked about this, have had to share a lot of songwriting credits. It'll be like, oh, John Lennon wrote this one, but it's like kind of both of us. So, yeah, that was happening, as well as a lot of interesting songs on the album. We could talk about Helter Skelter for a little bit real quick. If we want to trace the term Helter Skelter back, we're going to be talking about Charles Manson. Helter Skelter is like hell, basically, or like some sort of afterlife that Charles Manson was like crazy about, and they wrote a song about it. I didn't know this as a kid. I know this now. As a kid, I was just like, when I get to the bottom, I get back. Charles Manson, just known, just like terrible, like serial killing cultist. Like I don't know, he was just fucked up. And then also, my favorite Beatles song, which I think everyone else should, if you've never heard of the Beatles before, I think you should listen to Revolution Number 9 first. It's this really, just like, lyrically intricate, well put together, just like, not one of their crazier songs, just kind of laid back. Like, for it being further in their discography, it's like really tame.
Number 9, number 9. Number 9, number 9.
So, you know, if you're ever looking for a Beatles song to listen to, maybe if you're high and you're like, oh, I might get a little bit anxious, I just put on Revolution Number 9, lay back in your chair. It's very relaxing. So, would recommend that. Yeah, the White Album was definitely, it's like a turning point for the Beatles at this point, in the same way that, like, way back when they were like, should we be commercial or should we not? This one is more like, should we fucking kill each other or should we be chill with each other? This White Russian is really making me feel like I should kill someone in this room who decided I should drink a White Russian. So, yeah, just a lot of love for everyone who's part of my team right now. And I don't want to look at it because I know it's curdled. Anyways, next up, we're going to talk about the actual album for the movie Yellow Submarine. So this is a Yellow Submarine, but what I'm looking at here is it looks like my yellow fucking piss. I think it's Mountain Dew and some other bullshit. Producer, confirm?
Rum.
Mountain Dew and rum. Sounds like the poor man's cocktail. Tastes like you mixed rum and Mountain Dew. It's actually quite a nice pick-me-up. So the Yellow Submarine album, as we know, the actual song Yellow Submarine was released on Revolver, but then the actual movie soundtrack was like half their songs and then half like a score. We're not talking about the fucking score. I don't give a shit about the score. Oh my god, guys, I forgot to mention the last time that we were talking about the last album, their manager, Brian Epstein, died. Oh my god, he totally fucking died during the last run of the album. Brian Epstein being not that guy, a different guy. But you know how he died? Maybe the same way the other guy did. Might have killed himself, maybe didn't, no. It's like it's all the same with all these Epsteins. Anyways, so that was another reason that the Beatles were like, damn, it's fucking over. It's actually so over. Anyways, sorry for the rewind. Back to Yellow Submarine. So they released some shit like Hey Bulldog. That was a good one. Play 3 seconds of Hey Bulldog. Don't do that. We're gonna get copyright striked.
Shit dog. Stand in the rain.
Yeah, the whole Yellow Submarine soundtrack was just like nonsense bullshit. To go along with the nonsense bullshit of the animated movie. We also got All Together Now. That one's like pretty popular, but also very unbecoming of the Beatles for a film and an album where at the time they were not feeling being all together now. They were feeling, I'm gonna kill these guys. They were feeling, let's never make another song again. They were feeling, Ringo Starr was feeling like peace and love, probably, I don't know, based on how he is now. So that was Yellow Submarine. Great movie. Go watch Yellow Submarine. I mean, probably light up before you watch Yellow Submarine. Probably put acid in your coffee before you watch Yellow Submarine. I feel like you'll get it more that way. Though, there's really a film going on this now. I wish you guys could see. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 balls, 2 lemons, and probably a million curds of the heavy cream. All right. This cocktail is called the Abbey Road. If you're wondering why it's pink, it's because it's supposed to have apple juice in it, and we could only find Snapple apple, which is apple juice with other bullshit in it. So it is a beautiful color of pink, just like me. So let's give us a little sippy. Ooh. That's really good. This makes me want to actually finish it before I have to put it in there. I feel like if I put it in there, it's going to be a waste. Oh! All right. So, Abbey Road comes to us after a beautiful, beautiful trip to India. And we get a little highlight on George Harrison during this India trip, because if y'all don't know, George Harrison is big into India. He fucking loves that shit. After doing LSD, he was like, damn, I'm thinking about the mountains and the Himalayas in India. And he's like, I want to learn how to play the sitar. Which is like a big thing with a lot of the like trippier songs, and a lot of like the songs that George wrote they have sitar in them. But they go on this India trip, and it's awesome. But it's also, I mean, it comes at a time where none of them liked each other. So I believe with the India trip, it was kind of like they're going together, but they're all kind of were doing their own shit. I think George Harrison was like training on sitar. The boys were like, probably just like hanging out and meditating. I don't know. But Abbey Road comes to us as Beatles, the Beatles swan song. Not a swan song. Well, yes, a swan song, but in the Beatles case, it's like once a beetle like rolls onto its back and it can't get back up. It's like that kind of song. This is the Beatles on their back. Abbey Road has Octopus's Garden on it, which is the most renowned Beatles song of all time. It was written by Ringo Starr, and he went, boys, can we play this awesome song that I wrote? And it's about an octopus chilling out in a garden. They were like, Ringo, you are a fucking genius. And it actually topped the charts, topped it over Yesterday. Once Imagine by John Lennon came out, topped over John Lennon's Imagine. It's actually the most popular song in the planet of all time. This is the defining song of the Beatles. I think everyone knows this. This album was literally not the beginning of the end. This was the end. They fucking hated each other when they were recording Abbey Road. The entire time they were in the studio, they were all like, fuck this shit, hate this shit. And while they were doing Abbey Road, and even before they were doing Abbey Road, they were in the creation of their very last album, where they were like, we should do an album where we do all of it live. And George Harrison was like, fuck you mean? I'm not doing that shit. I don't even want to be here. So they conceptualized all of their last album and then did Abbey Road. And Abbey Road was like pretty good, pretty decent reception. And then right at the end, like halfway through the album, they have like 5 or 6 songs, maybe 6 or 7, maybe like 10, maybe like 4, maybe like 5 songs that are all, if you listen to them back to back, it's like a like a medley. And that got really popular. People really liked that shit. Also, notable thing about Abbey Road is on the cover, Paul is barefoot. And one thing that people liked about that was Paul's barefoot. People love feet. That's joking. What people thought about that was there was this ongoing theory that Paul is fucking dead. And there was like a bunch of different like conspiracy and clues. That album, people were like, Paul's barefoot just like a corpse, so he's dead. Not true. I think he's still alive, right? Picture of Paul McCartney right now. Like right now, like he's asleep, like right now. Somebody go to Paul McCartney's apartment and like find him. So people thought Paul McCartney was dead. He wasn't. Just wanted to be because he was working with these other fools. So yeah, nobody was fucking with the Beatles anymore. And by nobody, I mean the Beatles weren't fucking with the Beatles anymore. This was like the last album where they cared even a little bit. And even then, they were like conceptualizing and making their very last album. So when their last album comes out, they don't even care. So I guess, let's talk about the last album. But first, let's put this beautiful pink shit into this horrible, horrible brown shit. Goodbye, beautiful cocktail. So this is a bee's knees. Reason?
It rhymed with the name of the album.
Bee's knees and let it... Wow. Wow! Wait, that's really clever. Wow. Let it be's knees. Well, this is the only time I've ever liked my producer. This is crazy. So, this is the last album. And funny thing about this album, remember when I said that they were like, we should perform this album live? And George Harrison was like, no, I hate that. They were like, so we're doing it on the rooftop of this building. And George Harrison was like, fuck! He didn't like it very much. So yeah, Let It Be is this album, and it's the last album. They performed it live. It was great. Hitting that, dig a pony. What does that mean? Dig a pony? It's their last album. They could have done whatever they wanted at that point. Fucking, what, I Me Mine? Is that one of the ones? Yeah, probably. So, their last album, before they disbanded, really just, it's a great album, but just, I mean, based on the history, oh wait, I didn't even try my cocktail. That's fucking crazy. Bee's Knees cocktail. That's really good. That's really good. And you know what? It's a really good conclusion. Just like Let It Be was. Yeah, very iconically known. It's like, the last one was the Swan Song. This album is kind of like the death rattle. Like a beautiful death rattle. Some really iconic tracks on there. I mean, obviously, Dig a Pony. Dig a pony. If y'all haven't listened to a Beatles song before, you should listen to Dig a Pony. I don't know. But listen to Revolution 9 first. I think this one had, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Can I get a fact check on that? No? No? Did it have Long and Winding Road? Fact check on that? Fact check? Yes? Okay, fact check on that. Long and Winding Road was on this album. I don't remember what, I don't know the other ones. That was on probably the last one. I don't know. So, basically, great job, Beatles. And then, so what happened was they were like, fuck this shit, we're out. I think Paul McCartney instigated the, we gotta break up, guys. And then, really funny bit, I believe it was George Harrison who was on vacation at Disney World when he got word that he would be signing some documents that the Beatles are ending. So there's, I think, a video of George Harrison at Disney World, at some place in Disney World, being like, oh joy, time to sign the documents that will end the Beatles. Clip of that happening, I think. If I'm wrong, put a picture of a clown right here, because that's what I am. So that's a really funny way to end it, when George Harrison was just fucking so out that he was on vacation, like, hell yeah, I'm gonna go on Space Mountain after this, actually. And then, post-Beatles, what happens? Guys, John Lennon got shot in New York. Crazy situation, he walks out of his apartment, he gets fucking shot in the head by a guy holding Catcher in the Rye. Fucked up, that's the end of him. George Harrison died of cancer, that's the end of him. Two Beatles remain. And this is my final stance. Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr still remain. I think that at this point, in the year of our Lord 2026, I think they should duke it out in the ring. I think that at the end of all of their history and everything, and the re-released Now and Then, where they did AI enhancing of certain vocals, I think at the end of it all, it's over, and only one can remain at this point. So this is my call for Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. I will organize a UFC-style wrestling match where only one of you can escape the ring. And I know you're both old at this point. I think we can leave an allowance of 2 months beforehand where we pump you full of steroids and then just see what happens. I think that's the only way that we can truly end the Beatles timeline in the correct and most bombastic way. So contact me, Paul McCartney or Ringo Starr, if you want to organize this. This was the bee's knees, if I must say. And that was the whole history of the Beatles, from my recollection. I don't think I got anything wrong. I actually think I got all of that right. And can we have a final check on the wrong counter right here? That number is 0. Big old goose egg, as they would say on Dropout. So this is, I'm being told, is called the Beetlejuice. It's a wonderful peach color. I wish it was peach flavored, but I know it not. Thanks for watching this video. I hope y'all like it enough to let me keep doing this. I've sacrificed a lot today in terms of mental sanity. Bottoms up. It's a flavor that really evolves as you drink it. Oh, I keep spilling. I don't know how to describe this. It's kind of like if you drank spoiled. It's not. Actually, okay, so here's the thing. Here's the problem. It's not actually that bad. But it is so different. I'm actually speechless. I'm speechless on what to do with this. Very gross. Not very good. Yeah, so thanks for watching. On our Patreon, if you give us a little bit of money, just a little bit of money, you never give me your money. That's a Beatles song. You would know if you listen to the Beatles. You can find all sorts of stuff on our Patreon, actually, all sorts of cuts of videos. Yeah, subscribe to our Patreon, subscribe to our YouTube channel, ring the bell, dingle our berries.
Subscribe for more content.
Can you still promote videos? I don't know if that feature's still available, if you can like boost videos. Do that like 100 times. Any points you have to boost this video, do it like 1 billion times. I want to keep doing this, and I want to keep getting stupider. So yeah, listen to the Beatles, R.I.P. John Lennon, R.I.P. either Paul McCartney or Ringo Starr, depending. We'll see. So, bye.